I'm at the point where I'm pretty convinced that CPTSR, the accumulation of multiple traumas over a lifetime, is responsible for probably 95% of what people would go to a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist or a counselor for. So if we can handle, cure, resolve CPTSR, that kind of implies that we can handle 95% of the mental health and emotional related issues that are out there. There is a complete system of understanding what the trauma is, where it came from, and how it manifests. And I think that was laid out very thoroughly in Pete Walker's book, CPTSD From Surviving to Thriving. Now there is a, well, I flatter myself, I consider it to be a complete and thorough system for resolving CPTSR, for resolving the causes of emotional flashbacks, the manifestations of emotional flashbacks, and healing the inner critic, healing that inflamed superego injunction that's telling you you're worthless, you're a bad person, there's something wrong with you. If not completely, then, you know, we can say if people are at like 90% inflammation, we've brought it back to like 30-20% inflammation through you know, the exercises and the coursework inside of 3 to 4 months. These are not amazing, mind-blowing claims. I mean, it's still quite a lot of work, and it's not a complete resolution, but at 90%, and this is my point, you're kind of really on the edge of wondering whether it's worth remaining in this existence or not, because it's so painful. Reality itself, it's like we don't have the skin, we don't have the boundaries to cope with reality itself. And life just gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and we retreat back in self-isolation, and our worlds get smaller, which then leads to anxiety, depression, and a whole host of other mental health issues. So it's not, we have this sliding scale. I'm not a mathematician, not a statistician. We have a sliding scale. Say it's like from 0 to 100. 100 is your CPTSR response is very pronounced, very severe, and very bad, down to 0 where it's completely gone. But once you start getting up past 70, it's not the pain level and the danger level is not a constant rise from 0 to 70. From 0 to 70, I'd say it's constant, but then from 70 to 100, it goes up. There's an accelerated increase because it's too painful to live. And then at that point, suicidal ideation becomes a thing, resorting to alcohol, drugs, potentially self-destructive patterns of behavior becomes very normal, very, very typical. We know this. All the research is published. This isn't some left field, weird YouTube gurus' theories. This is published research. Children raised in adverse childhood environments, ACE they call it, are more prone to addiction. They die younger, they get more in adulthood. They die younger, they get more diseases, they're more prone to depression, they're more likely to take their own lives, and they're more likely to engage in behaviors that hurt them. There's published research, peer-reviewed, it's out there. Nobody that I'm aware of contests it, because how would you, like, it defies logic to contest it. So this is why I think it's so important. So even if I'm only saying, well, look, I can take you from a 90 down to a 30, I think that's massively significant in my own life, the applications of these techniques and the concepts, which I kind of created for me primarily, and then I've just been sharing them with people. The difference has been huge. It's like my life is unrecognizable compared to what it was, my God, 5 years ago. But the resolution and the healing is so fast that even 18 months ago, or, you know, just the other day I was looking at a decision I made 14 months ago, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, this is like something from a movie. Am I in the Matrix? Why would I do that? Why would I do something so plainly rooted in trauma and pain and so self-destructive? It's so clear now where that would lead to. That's 14 months ago. That's a very, very short period of time. But it was around that time that I ended up going back into therapy and back into counseling. And I went back because of depression. I was like, oh, I'm going through a process. I've gotten over my fight response. I'm no longer a rageaholic. Now I'm sinking into depression and, like Pete Walker calls it, the abandonment melange. Oh, it's just a step in the process. It's one more step, exponential step. And it wasn't. It was a transcendental move, because through that conversation, it led me to the point where I realized I'm completely fucking emotionally illiterate. I'm an emotional mute to myself. I can't describe my own emotions to myself. That's a problem. It means I lack intuition. It means I lack common sense. It means I'm neurotically naive. It means I do things that are just odd, that nobody should ever do if they consider themselves to be an intelligent human being interested in their own safety, health, well-being, and the capacity not just to survive day by day, but to thrive and move forward and to lead a better life. I think this stuff is very, very important. I think this stuff this material can really give you a new lease of life. I'm opening the doors on the Science of the Inner Critic course again. We are opening the doors, myself and my partners in America. If you decide to join up, it will be in the next 48 hours. We're going to let you know how you can do that. But if you join the mailing list below, the same as last time, it's restricted access. It has to be restricted access because at the moment it's only me. So I have to limit how many people I can interact with, how many people I can help. Because if it's too much, it's only me. That's the way we're doing it. So we are restricting the access again. So join the waiting list, and when the doors open, I'll send a message out to the people on that waiting list, and I'll let you know. It will only be open for a few days, basically until a certain number come through, and then again that has to be it. Until I clone myself, which is coming. That's next year we're doing that. That's all I can do for now. If you do that, you will see there is the new company formation that I've made with the partners in America. It's an American company and it's called Break Any Barriers. So if you see Break Any Barriers Limited, that's myself and my partners in the US. I'm really excited about doing it. We've got more material coming. And basically all I'm going to try and do is what I've been doing up until now. I'm going to try and provide more resources to provide more thorough healing in a shorter and shorter period of time, because I believe it's possible. I think that what we've got here is very, very good. I think that we can take it even further. And even if all we're doing is just tweaking and accelerating this part of the system and this part of the system, that's going to have an exponential healing effect at the other end. It's not going to be a graded healing effect. So that's it for today. I just wanted to share that with you because that's been in my head now for 6 months, and I'm like, oh, you really need to let people know where you're coming from and what your perspective is on this and why you think it's so important. I think this is hugely important because it would help people deal with the vast majority of stuff that they consider to be a mental health issue. They just call it anxiety or they call it depression, and it isn't. It's CPTSR, but they don't have the language, they don't have the capacity to map it, and then they don't have the capacity to heal it. Well, we can help you map it and we can help you heal it so that you just get on with the rest of your life. I hope that was useful. As ever, thank you very much for your time and for your attention, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.